everyone. Welcome to today's live class. And we're going to have a special little activity in today's class, which is going to be focused on writing. And often students mention that organizing themselves, writing their letter in 45 minutes is a bit of a challenge. And then they have to do things like write the letter, rewrite the letter, do all kinds of crossing out. So basically the question is it possible to really write a very good letter in 45 minutes as it is under the exam conditions? And to prove that it is possible, today I am going to be a student, just as with Isra and Arusa. We're all going to be writing the same letter, and in the spirit of complete honesty, no, I have not seen this letter. Neither Isra nor Arusa have done this letter before. We just picked it at random out of a whole pile, so we're all starting from zero alike. Okay? All right. So we have our paper printed in front of us, and I will be typing my letter. Who else is typing and who is handwriting?
Mine is handwriting and
yours is handwriting, and
yeah,
I am typing.
You're typing. Okay, so two of us are typing, two of us are handwriting. And on that note, I'm just going to adjust the camera now so you actually see what I do when I write this letter. So I'm just going to turn it down before we start so that's my letter there. Yeah, good. So we can see, I think everyone can see my letter now. Unfortunately, my desk is tidy. So the 5 minutes starts now. Oops. 5 minutes reading time starts now. So we may start writing now, and we will be told when there's 10 minutes left and when there's 5 minutes left. So I will put 30 minutes on. And now we may start writing.
How much time is left?
22 minutes.
Is my letter fine on paper or shall I type on phone?
No,
or
you can submit it on, you can submit it on paper.
Okay, thank you. I'm done. You are on mute. I think we all finished.
We have all finished already. There are 3 minutes left on the clock, which means in total, there are 13 minutes left of the 40 minutes. So we've all managed to finish our letter in, quick time. All right, so, oops, before I forget, let me save it. Otherwise, with my proclivities, it will disappear. Okay. Oh, markers. Okay. And I'm actually going to save mine as I'm actually going to save mine as a PDF as well. Save. Okay. So are we going to share now in the chat? Well, you guys also please send
I
me.
tried to send it to the chat, but it says file is blocked for security reasons. Okay, let me try to save it in a PDF. Maybe it's gonna work.
Or send it by email, that's fine. Okay. You too, Arusa?
So can you send mine or shall I send to her on email? Sure. Chat. That's okay. That's fine.
Because what we'll do is we'll pull up all three here and screen share. We'll do mine last. And then we'll do
okay, I
sent
mine on the chat. It doesn't send unless it's PDF.
I don't know if you can take a picture of yours, Arusa, and send it by email or something. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let me just open yours as well. There it is. Okay. Okay. All right. So we've got 2 out of 3. You sent yours already, Arusa?
I sent them to Isra. So
Isra, yeah.
Sorry, just give me a second.
And for some weird, I was about to say.
So they are in the chat.
Okay. Okay, page 1 and 2.
Two images, yeah.
Two images, yeah, no problem. So let me just save these quickly. So that's the clock going off to tell us we actually have 10 minutes left. But clearly we don't need it. Save. So that was the first one. And this is G-O-N-Z. Good. All righty. So on that note, let me just open here and go to desktop. Right. Okay. I don't know if I can merge these, but let me see. All right. What I'm going to do is 1 second. I'm going to. Okay. So we have done this writing task very efficiently. Everybody managed to finish not just in 14 minutes, but actually in 30 minutes. Okay. Did you get a chance to also proofread your letter?
Yeah.
Okay, good. What did you think of the case notes? So Isra, in your own words, summarize very briefly for me the who, what, where, when, how, which of what is going on in this case notes.
We are referring to the hospital of Mr. Marcos.
Marcus,
He yeah, he has abdominal pain,
Mhm.
and they described the pain, and he doesn't have, and he have a history of he has a history of hypertension and depression.
Mhm.
Otherwise, everything is normal.
Okay, good. So why are you writing this letter? What is the purpose of this letter? What do you want to happen when you write this letter?
To request further investigations and a definitive diagnosis.
Good. All right. So let's go first to Isra's letter. And I will screen share again. All right. So this is the right one, right, Isra?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So Dr. Gons, Wellington Central Building, Wellington Street, St. John's Wood, London, 2006. Dear Dr. Gons, Ray, Dr. Marquez, 615. I am writing, oh, well, I see where I lost marks already. I actually did a misspelling, but anyway. In that case, that's not Marquez, that's Marx. But anyway, I am writing to refer Mr. Marks, who's been complaining of abdominal pain for the last 2 months and who requires further investigation and a definitive diagnosis. Good. Mr. Marks presented to the clinic today with complaints of sharp abdominal pain located in the epigastric and left upper quadrant regions, along with a weight loss of 5 pounds over the last 2 months. The pain does not radiate and it varies in its severity throughout the day with a rating of, oops, hold on, let me just see if I can put in edit. Yeah, with a rate of 6 out of 10 at its worst. What's the difference between rate and rating?
Rating, maybe that he rated it.
Mm-hmm. And
The
what does
patient.
rate mean?
It's something that is like obvious or
Not quite. A rate has two definitions in English. It could be the price of
speed.
something or exactly speed. Yeah.
Speed.
So which word is should go here? Rate or rating?
Rating.
Rating. Yeah, of 6, 10 out of 10 at its worst. He also has complaints of nausea and occasional heartburn.
I forgot the T.
Correct. All right, but again, that's minor. Mr. Mark's medical history. Here you want the genitive, the possessive.
Oh yeah, I forgot that.
Apostrophe.
Apostrophe, oops,
And
S. Apostrophe S. Okay. Medical history includes well-controlled hypertension. Yes, you could also in here put a hyphen. Hypertension and poorly controlled depression diagnosed 2 months ago. He also has a history of cardiac catheterization post an MI event in 2003. He doesn't, as a rule, we try not to use contractions in formal writing. If you slip in one, it's not the end of the world, but it is better for the genre and style to spell out instead of writing contractions. He does not have any other systematic symptoms, and actually it's systemic. Systematic means following a certain system. Or procedure. Yeah, systemic means referring to the systems of the body. So it's just a small systemic symptoms. And he does once again.
I forgot the comma as well here after symptoms and.
Well, after symptoms, yeah, because we're starting a new thought. And
that's obvious that I didn't do proofreading.
Yeah, even in proofreading after proofreading after proofreading, you do miss certain
You can miss commas, especially in
yeah. Or sometimes spelling. It's a thing the brain does often, especially if you've been looking at something time and time.
We just read it quickly.
The
Yeah.
brain sees what should be there instead of what actually there, which is why writers have editors. They can read something 12 times and still miss stuff, okay? And he does not recall any history of abdominal trauma or injury, okay? The current medications of Mr. Marks are aspirin, metoprolol, just a little, what is that thing like to annoy me? Metoprolol and Prozac. His family history of colon cancer is unknown, and he does not smoke or drink. Oh, or drink alcohol. Okay. Your assessment of Mr. Mark's condition, so you got it here, so they would know that that was just a slip up above, would be highly appreciated. If you require any additional information, please do not hesitate to contact me. Yours sincerely, Doctor. Okay, so all the errors that you have made here are small errors of vocabulary. One with respect to style, the use of contractions. However, with respect to your content, what do you think, Arusa?
It's
What about
really
her
good
purpose?
letter.
What about her purpose statement? What do you think of her purpose statement?
Her purpose statement is well defined.
Good.
Like, yeah, organization and layout is perfect.
Good.
She includes all the relevant information.
Mm-hmm.
And just there are few mistakes like contraction and few spelling mistakes. Otherwise, it's perfect.
Yeah. Otherwise, there are absolutely no major issues.
Yeah, readability is fine. Everything is fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Runs smoothly.
Yeah.
So yeah, purpose. I would give you full marks for purpose, 3 out of 3.
Yeah.
For content and clarity, for conciseness and clarity, yes. I would have also given you high marks for that. For content, you have everything there and nothing left out. The only thing I might say, because you are referring to a hospital and prescribing professionals, in addition to mentioning the names of the drugs he was on, I would also mention the dosages. Okay?
Yeah.
Who knows? They may stop them, yes, but they may start them back in hospital. They may want to, adjust them up, adjust them down, or whatever. So just a little.
Because we don't know the cause of symptoms, so it can be because of the medication, whatever. So they should know the dose.
Yeah. So if you are prescribing, if you are referring to a person or institution where a prescription is going to be written, or medications are going to be adjusted, just remember, okay, this might be good to add the dosages as well, right? So that's the only point, and it is a relatively minor point. Organization and layout, nothing wrong. Okay, and language, okay, you may lose a point on language but these are such minor errors. It doesn't distract us from what you're actually trying to say, and it doesn't take away from the picture of the patient that the reader is forming. So yeah, this is a good letter. If I were to score this letter, I might give this letter a 400, a 390, but that's just me and I'm not the examiner. Okay. Yeah, but this is a very good letter, one that you can feel confident about. And honestly, if it weren't for those minor, very minor things, I would say that this is a high B letter. But again, I'm not the examiner. I'm just talking about what I would give you. All right. Okay. So you've seen a typed example, and if the argument is that it's faster to type in that kind of time than to write, Arusa has proven that yeah, you can also write it in.
I didn't write it with pencil, so I couldn't erase it. That's why
I just cut the lines, but on the real exam day, I
Yeah,
usually erase lines and yeah.
use pencil. Yeah.
Mm.
But having said that, even where you have erased is neat and, you know, I'm not having to read all over the place. So that's fine. So let's look at this one. Again, quick overview, looking at the layout. Yeah, look at that. Okay, so you have the address, date, dear Dr. Gons, you've got a space, extra space between paragraphs, you're writing on every line within the paragraphs. So let's see what you said. Mr. Marks, age 65, thank you for seeing Mr. Marks, who has recently complained of abdominal pain associated with weight loss, nausea, and occasional heartburn. He requires further assessment and a definitive diagnosis. Now, Arusa has given more information in her purpose statement, but nice and concise, no fat to trim away. And already in that short, concise paragraph, you've got an immediate image of the patient. So let's hear now more about this abdominal, sorry, excuse me, about this abdominal pain. Mr. Marks presented today with epigastric and left upper quadrant pain, which has been gradually worsening over the last 2 months. The pain is sharp in nature and is continuous. The severity of pain is 610. He also reported having nausea and occasional heartburn. However, it's not associated with food or eating. He's lost 5 pounds weight. You don't need to put the weight. If you say 5 pounds, it's automatic. It's not wrong, yeah, but just so you know, you can say he's lost 5 pounds. It automatically in English means he's lost weight. He's lost 5 pounds over the last 1 to 2 months. Please know there's no history of trauma or injury to his abdomen. Regarding Mr. Mark's medical history, he has hypertension. He has had, well done, for 2 years, and he has poorly controlled depression. He underwent cardiac catheterization following myocardial infarction in 2003. Now we see here that you have spelled out myocardial infarction, whilst Arusa, I think you had put MI?
Yeah.
MI? But in this case, you're writing to a hospital. If you had said MI, that is an abbreviation that the intended reader would be reasonably expected to recognize. So either or, okay? But you wrote it out, good, fine, not a problem at all. In 2003, his current medications include aspirin, metoprolol, Prozac, and here you've given the doses. And his father died of a heart attack. Here you put the family history close to the myocardial infarction. Okay, I would be grateful if you could provide him with a detailed evaluation. Should there be any queries, please do not hesitate to contact me. Okay, so any critiques or queries with this letter?
None.
Yeah, I think the student has surpassed the teacher, which is good. My job here is done. All right, well done. Okay, so with respect to purpose, nice and clear, immediate. Okay, no query, no, yeah. All right, so you would have gotten full marks for that. Your content, all is there. The only very minor thing you may have left out was, or did you? I don't remember. The smoking and drinking.
No, she didn't mention it, I think.
But
No,
again,
I didn't mention that. I thought that if he's not smoking or not,
drinking,
then we can skip.
then you can skip it. Yeah. All right. Again, very minor, not a huge issue, but the relevant information you have here. Conciseness and clarity, again, good. Your genre and style, yeah, this is appropriate. Yeah. Any abbreviations you use, and you didn't use many except this rating here. Yeah. Yeah, and QD, but again, the reader will be expected to know that. Organization and layout, it flows, it nicely flows. okay? And grammar and spelling, yeah,
Perfect.
nothing.
I'm jealous about this.
Yeah, yeah. The teacher has surpassed the student has surpassed the teacher. Okay, so this would definitely be
No, it's not.
high.
I just want to hear ready
This
for exam tomorrow.
Yeah, this would definitely, for me, if you were writing this for me, by the time I broke down the criteria and really was looking to find something to take off marks for, this would be a very high B, if not a borderline A. Yeah, at least for me, it would be.
Can you hear
Concise, to the point. Did you hear me? You broke up for a minute there. I said,
Yeah, sorry.
at least for me, this would have been a very high B, if not a borderline A, because I would have been working really hard. Apart from mentioning the smoking and drinking, which is relevant given the fact he had an MI and now he's got these symptoms, I would have been looking really, really, really hard to find something to take off marks for. So this would have been a very high B, if not an A.
I was saying that I just want to hear that I am ready for exam tomorrow.
You
Yes.
are.
Yes, you are. You both are. But Isra still has a minute.
Yeah,
Has a
she
minute.
has 2 weeks left. So
Yeah. Yes, you are ready for it. And now the teachers. Well, I can tell already my spelling of the name.
teacher gonna rock and students will be shocked.
Pardon? What you said?
Sorry,
No, could you repeat?
I
I didn't
disappeared.
hear.
I said I said teacher gonna rock and students gonna shock.
There you go. All right. Or other way around. Students gonna rock. You guys are the ones I want to rock. Okay. So I'm writing to request further assessment and oops, where is the editing tool? Okay. Now I wrote this letter fast. I'm not making excuses. I wrote this letter fast, but in the real exam, I couldn't get up and walk out. So I would have actually taken that extra 13 minutes and read it again. But we're recording and we want to make it nice and concise so people can watch it. All right. So do we have it? Ah, there we go. So of course we have to correct the patient's name. Oops. Sorry. Yeah. And correct his name again.
After regarding as well.
And where? Oh.
After regarding, the regarding line.
After the real line, yeah. So, yeah. Okay. And
Do we need to put comma after lecturer, a retired lecturer?
And actually,
or just I'm
hold on before you deal with this. This is something actually I also should have picked up if I'd kept my full 13 minutes. It's left of a quadrant, not right. That's the whole difference between the liver and something else entirely. I don't know. Yeah, the outer edge of the stomach, something. Okay. But let's look at how I did it. And I think we actually, more or less, all three of us did it, you know, the same organization. So there we go. Date. Dear Dr. Bonds.
I have a comment in the address.
You have a what?
A comment on the address. Is it okay to put a comma after them, some of them, and some of them not?
Some of them not. You probably should, if you use it, you use it for all of them. If you use it for none, if you don't use it, you do use it for none. Yeah, but for that to be something to be a big issue in marking, I doubt it will be a big issue. The complete absence of the address would be a big issue. Yeah. So, okay. But yeah, we can go without. Dear Dr. Gons, Ray, Mr. Marks, 65 years old. I'm writing to request further assessment and definitive diagnosis for Mr. Marks, a retired lecturer who's been having abdominal pain of unknown cause for the last 2 months. Yeah.
Do we
yes.
need to put comma after lecture or is it fine?
Oh,
A
here, a
retired
retired lecturer. Oh, you mean after here? Yeah. This,
Yes,
I'm
yes.
using this as a defining clause to describe a retired lecturer. So no, I do not need a comma after it. Yeah, if it was non-defining, in other words, if it was something you can take out and the rest of the sentence stands on its own, and you can look up the difference between defining and non-defining clauses, then yes, you would put a comma.
So likewise, if we write that I am writing to refer this patient, do we write comma after the patient? Like whose clinical features are? I am writing to refer.
I'm writing to refer this patient, comma, Mr. Marks, comma, who is suffering from abdominal pain.
Yeah.
Because there, Mr. Marks is just defining, well, not defining, is just adding additional information to this patient. If you took out Mr. Marks, yeah, the rest of the sentence still stands on its own. I'm writing to refer this patient who has abdominal pain and so on. Yeah. I see it a lot. People always put a comma in front of the relative pronoun who, which, that, always, because they have in their head it always goes in front. And the truth is it doesn't. It depends on what kind of clause it is. Yeah. If it's non-defining, yes. If it's defining, no. So here it is defining. So a retired lecturer who's been having abdominal pain of unknown cause for the last 2 months. Yeah. Mr. Marks has been having localized, and I had someone ask me about has been having, and if that is correct grammar or not. In case you're wondering, have is an odd verb in English because it serves 2 functions. It is a helping verb, but it is also a main verb.
Yeah.
But as a main verb, it can have all of the tenses. So even though it looks odd, has been having is perfectly correct grammar. Ms. Mars has been having localized, sharp epigastric and left upper quadrant abdominal pain for the last 2 months. Now, I use the word localized just to stop myself from having to say it does not radiate. That is the definition of localized. It does not radiate. So I just use one word instead of those. He describes it as worsening, always present, but with exacerbations and remissions. So it gets worse, it gets better. Again, I use shorter words to define longer descriptions instead of longer descriptions, with exacerbations and remissions throughout the day at worst 6 out of 10 in intensity. The pain is associated with occasional nausea, but not linked to eating or any specific foods, and he has not tried taking any medications to relieve it. He has also noted a weight loss of 5 pounds in the last 2 months, but has had no other symptoms. So instead of describing he hasn't had this, he hasn't had that, I just said he has no other symptoms. Okay. In his past medical history, Mr. Marks was hospitalized in 2003 for an MI, underwent cardiac catheterization, has been taking aspirin since then. So you see, there are 2 ways you can do this. You can list all of his diagnoses and all of the medications together, or the way I did it was I put the diagnosis and when he started the medication, which means I've rearranged the information in the case notes, but both work. All right. He's had hypertension for 2 years and is on metoprolol 100.
Is HPT abbreviation fine for hypertension?
You're sending it to the hospital. I've seen HPT, I've seen HTN.
HTP we write.
Sorry, HPT. Sorry, HTP. Hypertension. I've also seen HTN.
We use it HTN, yeah.
Yeah, in Britain we use HTN.
We use it HTN.
Yeah. In the UK and Australia, I've seen them.
So HPT is also fine.
Hypertension in the Caribbean and in North America, you also see HPT. But
I wouldn't advise to write this abbreviation.
You would prefer what?
I would not advise to use this
Yeah.
abbreviation.
You would use it
because it varies in different countries. In UK, we have like seen HTN.
HTN.
Yeah, and if like we see HPT, we wouldn't know what is that.
Yeah, I didn't know.
You did? Okay. But you know,
so if I am a reader, then I'll get confused that what is HPT.
But it is okay. You can use hypertension in the Americas, and OET is also in the Americas. So honestly, Americans are unlikely to write. You're going to see a different one. No, you might see different ones out of the Americas. Yeah. Okay. But yes, you're right. If in doubt, write out hypertension for 2 years, and it's on metoprolol, 100 milligrams QD. He's also been taking Prozac over the last 3 months for persistent depression. Okay. So I organized it a little different.
Isn't it over the 2? I'm just asking, just confirming it. 2 months.
2, yeah, not 3.
3 months.
Over the 2 months.
2 months? Okay.
2 months. Yeah.
All right. Oops. TW. All right. There we go. So aside from the above, Mr. Marquez neither smokes nor drinks alcohol. His father passed away after suffering a heart attack. Thank you for your assistance, and please keep me abreast of your findings. Should you have any further questions, please contact me. Kind regards.
I have something about the capitalization.
Of?
I have read that in the OET website that if it's a scientific name of medication, you write it small. If it's a trade name, you write it
Big.
Big, yeah.
Yeah.
The first letter.
Yes.
Okay.
So M should be small.
And it should be small.
And A should aspirin.
Aspirin. Yeah. That's probably the German. That's probably the German in me. However, you may come across.
Can I ask one thing?
Hello.
Yeah. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah.
So in the where is it? Yeah, in the second paragraph. So we are no second paragraph. Second line of second paragraph.
You mean this?
So he describes. So no, down.
Yeah, he describes it as.
So okay, if we are writing to specialist and we are discussing today's visit, so will it not be described? Both are fine. He described.
Both would be acceptable.
Because he is still describing it.
Because this is something that's still going on.
Yeah, he's still having pain, but he described it. Although he is having pain, but you mentioned that he described.
In this case, honestly, in this situation, you can put described or describes.
Yeah.
And both of them would work. Yeah. Describes. You're saying describes in the context of, although not literally, this is still going on. Yeah. But if you're going reported speech, this is one of those things where either way it would be acceptable. There's no here, both of them are actually grammatically correct and acceptable. Yeah?
I asked because I wrote that he also reported having nausea and occasional heartburn. So I wrote reported. He also reported.
Yeah. That's also correct. The thing about it is he's been having, so I'm using a present perfect progressive. He describes and the pain is. So
It's
I'm being consistent, keeping it
Okay.
now, right? And he has. So I'm not zigzagging back and forth.
Yeah. So if you
Alright.
started it with a past tense, you should finish it with a past tense.
Keep it in that
Okay.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless, of course, you're changing, you want to show that you are actually changing timelines. But I'm not changing
Okay.
timelines. I'm saying, okay, look, this is how it is today. Okay, deal with it. All right. Okay.
Okay.
So aside from the above, he neither smoked. So you see, I kept it in present. His father passed away, but that is in the past. Thank you for your assistance, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So with 13 minutes more, we like to think I would have picked up those on the left. Hypertension. The thing about it is you put HPT, referring to a hospital, especially if you say metoprolol. The person is on, honestly, the reader would be reasonably expected to know those two. 2 months, yeah, that's a fine detail that I should have checked in the remaining 13 minutes, but yeah.
Yeah, so main 3 mistakes which you couldn't pick right from the case notes. First is the spelling of the patient's name. Second is left upper quadrant pain instead of right. And third is 2 months instead of 3.
Yeah. So there we go. But it shows that it is possible to write this letter very concisely, be organized without a lot of corrections and going back and forth in the time. And you would have seen, if you look back at the video, you would have seen that I actually didn't start writing immediately. Instead, what I did was I spent the first 5 minutes planning the letter, underlining, organizing, and then it was just writing it on paper. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So that's our little video. We should try this again sometime. Okay. All right.